Now, it's safe to say that we are all fairly seasoned horror fans over here at Top 5 Scary Videos, and I'm confident that the vast majority of you would be able to recognise your mildly cursed Beanie Babies from your actually voodoo-possessed good guy dolls, right? Right, I've got faith in you all. Either way, horror cinema is jam-packed with some terrifying inanimate objects that more often than not complicate things in some pretty nightmare-inducing manners. So it looks like our curiosity cabinet is faring pretty bare, and we better get some shopping done. Hello horror fans and welcome back to the Scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. As per usual, I'll be your horror host Jack Finch, as today we curiously take a look at the top 5 scariest demonic toys in horror movies. Roll the clip. For the curious amongst you, that clip was from Child's Play 2, the sequel of the legendary Chucky slasher released back in 1990, which, let's face it, of course Chucky's made this list. It's a list about demonic toys. What do you expect? Kicking off at number 5, the video game in Brain Scan 1994.
Whatever happens is up to you, but don't let your time run out.
I do.
Game over. You lose.
Alright guys, it was the 90s. It was a time before anyone truthfully knew the scale of the impact that technology would have on our lives, and it was a time when video games were still looked at as a thing that inadvertently rotted children's brains. Come on guys, you've got TV for that. Well, in the case of Brain Scan, they didn't just rot their brains, but this video game turned them into a straight up psychopathic killer without them even realising it. Written and directed by Brian Owens and John Flynn respectively, Brain Scan tells the tale of Michael Brower, played by Edward Furlong, aka John Connor himself, a lonely kid who lives an isolated existence in his absent father's mansion. Turns out that Michael is a huge fan of horror films and video games, and his buddy tells him about a brand new, ultra realistic, cutting edge game called Brain Scan. Of course, he sends off for the disc and unwittingly summons a demonic game show host known as the Trickster, who coerces Michael into murdering his friends and family. Yeah, pretty cutting edge technology. Sorry, that was a terrible pun. Swinging in at number 4, The Masks from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Yeah, kind of goes without saying really. A demonic children's novelty Halloween mask that, when worn whilst watching a specific TV commercial on the night of Halloween, inadvertently sacrifices them in an ancient Celtic ritual, thus bringing about a resurrection of the ancient age of witchcraft. Yeah, the third installment of Halloween wasn't exactly the golden age of horror cinema, but it was interesting nonetheless. As the events of the film explain, Halloween 3's antagonistic business villain, a man known as Conal Cochran, runs the Silver Shamrock Novelties Company and produces a wildly popular series of latex jack-o'-lantern, witch and skeleton toy masks for Halloween, and he's also made a pretty penny whilst doing so. Turns out each of these masks contain a fragment of Stonehenge implanted in a microchip, and when activated by the commercial's flashing magic pumpkin, it causes the wearer's brains to melt and then unleashes a swarm of snakes and insects out of the victim's corpse that try and kill anybody nearby. Sorry, what? Next up at number 3, the Annabelle Doll. Annabelle. And you were just waiting for this little demon doll to turn up, weren't you? Because it can't be a Scariest demonic toys list without Annabelle. And why anyone would ever be cruel enough to stick this abomination in front of an innocent child, I have no idea. Although the original doll that Annabelle is based on is a much more timid Raggedy Ann doll. Making her first appearance in James Wan's 2013 showstopper The Conjuring, Annabelle was such a demonic hit that she's gone on to spawn her own feature film, a much better prequel, and an upcoming 2029 sequel. As the events of the first film explain, Annabelle is a rare vintage porcelain doll that has a habit of demonically possessing anyone near its vicinity, and it's implicitly tied to a cult that is hell-bent on summoning in supernatural beings to outround. Along the way, Annabelle kind of becomes a bit of a Russian doll of demonic host upon demonic host, but it's not until the events of Annabelle Origin where we learn that the toy itself was created by a toy maker named Samuel Mullins for his daughter Annabelle. Tragically, she was later killed in a car accident, and her parents then accidentally summoned an infernal demon in their grief, who chose the convenient porcelain doll as its vessel. Why is it never like a plastic duck or a Furby? Actually, scratch that. Furbies are terrifying. Coming up next at number 2, the Lament Configuration Hellraiser.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
The box.
The definition of curiosity killing the cat, and you'd be really unfortunate to ever mistake this thing for a Rubik's Cube, because that'd be really bad. Well, turns out that the Lament Configuration, which is seemingly an ancient puzzle box making up an entire collection of the same boxes that appear throughout Clive Barker's Hellraiser series, and also just so happen to summon a gash's worth of Cenobites to your door once you've completed the puzzle. In the fictional canon, the boxes were created by Philippe Le Marchand, a French toy maker who makes the Lament Configuration for a wealthy aristocrat who was obsessed with dark magic. To make the box, Le Marchand and his servant Jacques kill a woman and remove her inner organs and use the woman's skin to summon the demon princess Angelique. Well, yeah, that kind of sets the precedent for the rest of Clive Barker's amazing Cenobite Hellraiser series, and thus anytime someone unwittingly starts playing with the Lament Configuration, you just know that Pinhead, the Chatterer and Butterball aren't far behind. This demonic puzzle box has seen some real history throughout the Hellraiser franchise, at one point being solved by a robot at the space station Minos in the year 2127 during the events of Hellraiser 4 Bloodline. Yeah, things get a little weird. But there is one thing you can say about the Lament Configuration: it's pretty damn durable. And finally, at number 1 spot, the Good Guys doll, Child's Play.
I am a vintage, mass-marketed children's toy from the 80s. Standing right in front of you, holding a very sharp scalpel.
And of course, because it really can't be a demonic toys list without Chucky rearing his cute little latex head. And it's on the Good Guys company to accept responsibility for this retail disaster, really, because even after the events of the first Child's Play film, they found themselves attempting to repair their public image, despite the fact that one of their dolls had been possessed by Charles Lee Ray, aka the Lakeshore Strangler, aka Chucky, in a bizarre voodoo ritual whilst avoiding prison, who then went on a 7-movie homicidal killing spree. You'd think they'd just kind of give up the ghost, right? Well, as we all know, in the events of the first Child's Play, created by Don Mancini and first released in 1988, all little Andy Barclay wants is a Good Guy doll, until his hard-working single mother manages to find one dirt cheap, being sold by a homeless guy down an alleyway. Well, yeah, it turns out that this doll in particular is the demonic vessel for the serial killer known as Chucky, and what plays out is one of the most captivatingly original cult horror slashers in recent memory. It's also absolutely hilarious. Well, there we have it, horror fans. Cheers for sticking around all the way until the end. Why don't you let us know your picks in the comment box down below. Before we depart though, let's read out some of your more resonating remarks over the past few days. First up, we've got Brandon Campbell, who says, "Scary." Well, I guess in that case our job here is done. Cheers, Brandon, and cheers for sticking around all the way to the end, horror fans. It's always a pleasure to see you, never a chore. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell. We'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your horror host Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 5 Scary Videos, and until next time, you take it easy.